So the saga continues between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones. Yesterday was the UFC 309 media day. Obviously, as expected, Jon Jones was asked multiple different questions about Tom Aspinall. Will he fight him, or will he admit that he's scared to death of the guy? Jon Jones has spoke about it, talking about the ducking allegations and fighting Tom Aspinall. He's actually also talked about fighting two other opponents. We're going to talk about it all today. You can't make this stuff up. Let's listen to what Jon Jones has to say when asked about a potential fight with Tom Aspinall.
Like this great challenge, they want to see greatness challenge. Like, does that entice you at all still?
There's a part of it that does, but if I'm being
bear in mind, this is the guy who says he's chasing legacy, chasing greatness, and won't fight the guy who is clearly the #1 heavyweight right now. You could argue in MMA. This is the guy who's saying he's chasing greatness and he wants to be the GOAT and he wants to be this and he wants to be that, but he won't fight the next best thing, the clear contender in his division. So you're not wanting to chase greatness then, but let's continue.
Completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him.
So Tom Aspinall's been an asshole doesn't really make much sense to me anyway, as because Tom Aspinall has had a lifelong dream, which he has said, him and his dad, about him becoming undisputed UFC heavyweight champion. And I don't know if Jon Jones is aware of this, clearly not, but you're the one that's stopping him right now from achieving his lifelong goal. The guy wants nothing more than to become undisputed heavyweight champion, and in fact, Tom Aspinall has been nothing but respectful to Jon Jones, at times too respectful, and is letting the UFC and Jon Jones walk all over him. It is changing a bit now. Tom Aspinall is being a bit more vocal, but how the fuck's the guy an asshole for wanting to fight you? I don't get that. This might end up being a Tom Aspinall Glaze session, by the way, but let's continue.
You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying, but he's just an asshole. With, you know, he's 30, so he's from this.
So the fans are annoying him. Tom Aspinall's fans are annoying. However, Jon Jones has said, has he not, in recent things, that he's not being affected by this and it's not annoying him. So he's contradicting himself. He does that multiple times, but we will talk about that.
Influencer generation where you hop online.
You're like 6 years old
and all that. I'm past that type of stuff. I'm like, bro, if you had a little bit more respect, then maybe we could have worked something out, you know. But
how can he be any more respectful? He hasn't slated you once. He could slate you. You have got so much dirt on yourself that you're the easiest fighter to target. So, in what way is he not being respectful? I just don't get this. And the fact that media members don't challenge him on this is what fucks me off so much about these UFC press conferences. The media members will ask shitty, stupid questions, and when they get a shitty, stupid response, they never challenge it.
I just don't even want to do business with him.
You're
scared.
At
the end of the day, this is a business, and fighting me gives him an opportunity to change his life forever.
That's true.
And I don't even want to give him the opportunity.
Because you're scared.
He just played his cards wrong with me personally. The press conference, going through the whole shebang with him, I'd rather not do.
I just don't get, like, you're scared of him. Just say it. I mean, you're literally saying, I don't want to fight Tom Aspinall. I know he's going to beat me in a roundabout way. Just hold your hands up and say, just admit it. Just admit what we all know. You're scared to fight him. It's fucking so annoying. But anyway, other media members were asking questions and talking about the duck allegations, which aren't really allegations. They're clear as day. He is ducking Tom Aspinall, and I don't see how you can think anything different. But anyway, Jon Jones, on discussing the duck comments directed at him by Tom Aspinall and the fans, Jon Jones says, you can't duck a man you were never scheduled to fight. Me, Hunter and Dana have never sat down and talked about Tom Aspinall. He's never been put on my radar. Now, if the UFC, Dana White and Hunter Campbell, didn't even bring the idea to Jon Jones about fighting Tom Aspinall after what he'd done to Sergey Pavlovich, who at the time was on an insane run, knocking everybody out in the first round. He was the backup fighter, so when Jon Jones pulled out, it should have been Sergey Pavlovich versus Stipe, but Stipe ducked Sergey. Tom Aspinall then stepped in to save that MSG card, smoked him in a round. And you're trying to tell me then the UFC never sat down and went, well, we've got an interim champion now who has clearly earned it. John, we're going to move it. We're going to move things about here. You know, this is what it has to be. This is the fight that has to be made. Because if it was any other division, That's what would have happened. The interim champion would have been facing the champion to see who the undisputed, clear-cut best in the division is. So I feel like it's a lack of respect on the UFC's end if they didn't approach Jon Jones with this fight. So it'll be interesting to see if a media member will actually ask Dana White on that. And if Dana White says that no, they never offered it, why didn't you offer it then? Why? But let's continue with what Jon Jones has been saying. So at the media, he's been talking about these fun fights that he wants to have. So essentially what Jon Jones wants to do now is he wants to cherry pick his opponents. That is what Jon Jones wants to do, which if that is the case and that's what the guy wants to do, that's fine. But he should be made to give up the undisputed title before this fight takes place, because this fight really shouldn't be for the undisputed title. You've got Jon Jones, who has had one fight in the heavyweight division where he won a vacant title over Ciryl Gane. That fight, we all know what happened. That was set up for Jon Jones to win. It was favourable for him, a favourable matchup. Why didn't he move up and fight Ngannou when he had the belt? We all know why. He knew he would have lost. So he's wanting to cherry pick opponents now. Like I said, this shouldn't be for the undisputed title. I understand Stipe is the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time. I do agree with that. But the guy's ranked number 8 now in the UFC's heavyweight division. His last win was against Daniel Cormier. He hasn't fought since 2021, and in his last fight, he was folded like a fucking deck chair by Ngannou. What are we doing here? But anyway, Jon Jones said... Jon Jones told media that past UFC 309, he is looking for fun fights against people that are similar sizes to him. He reportedly mentioned Alex Pereira and Jamal Hill as fighters that fit that category. Now, we knew Jon Jones has been looking to fight Alex Pereira. He's looking to duck Tom Aspinall and be able to get another title defense against Pereira. Why? Because Jon Jones is bigger than Alex Pereira and Jon Jones has a clear advantage over Alex Pereira. That's why he wants to fight him. It's nothing to do with, oh, Pereira's legacy and blah, 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 blah. It's got nothing to do with that. He knows Pereira's a big name. It's an easy payday for him, which is crazy to say that Pereira is an easy payday for anybody. He can beat Jon Jones. You know, it's not impossible, but it's very, very likely Jon Jones is going to go in there, take him down, sub him, or just control him on the mat. And Jon Jones himself knows that. That's why he's looking to make that fight. Now, to say he wants to fight fighters that are similar in size to him, we will get back to talking about Jamal Hill. That doesn't really make much sense whenever Jon Jones adds Derek Lewis to the name of fun, random fights that he'd be interested in. So, Derek Lewis is nowhere near the same size as you. Derek Lewis is an out-and-out heavyweight. So, he is nowhere near the same size as you. So, why are you lying again? Why are you contradicting yourself? Another reason why you want to fight Derek Lewis, why? Is because you've got a clear advantage over him, and that is in the grappling. Jon Jones himself knows that Derek Lewis will not be able to stop his takedowns, will not be able to get up once Jon Jones gets him down. That's why he wants to take that fight, because he's got a clear advantage. And this is why he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall, because Tom Aspinall is bigger than him, he's younger than him, he's in his prime, he's a better boxer, he's trained grappling his entire life. That's what he started off with before he went over and started training with the Furies and boxing. And it's not as if Tom Aspinall is clearly going to win this matchup. It's a close fight, and there is definitely an argument that he had. Jon Jones is extremely well-rounded, and look at the guy's resume. You know, you don't beat these big names from being shit. Now, has PEDs helped him? Possibly. But, you know, he is a very, very talented fighter, and it'll be interesting to see. Why I want to see this matchup is, how good is Tom Aspinall's grappling defense? We haven't seen it be tested, and we know Jon Jones will test him in that department. Do you know what I mean? But again, this is just lies upon lies. Just duck. He wants to fight fighters that are the same size as him, but then he wants to fight Derek Lewis. Doesn't make sense at all. Why is no one calling him out in this? It's so annoying. He says he'd be willing to vacate the undisputed heavyweight title to make these sort of fights happen. No, who's interested in Jon Jones, Derek Lewis? There is no one on earth can be interested in this matchup. We know exactly how it's going to go. Jon Jones subs him inside 2 rounds. Well, I mean, he was able to survive against Almeida, but is Almeida the level of grappler Jon Jones is? No. So, like, if these are the... So he's going to... He said he was definitely going to retire. Now he's not sure if he's going to retire, but he wants to have fights against Derek Lewis and the likes of Jamal Hill. I don't mind the Pereira matchup if he fights Aspinall first. That doesn't bother me. Because even if he fights Tom Aspinall and loses, he can always then move back down to light heavyweight, because it's not as if John Jones is this massive heavyweight. No, he's not. So he could then drop back down and immediately get a title shot against Pereira in the light heavyweight division. Now, I know he said about him and Pereira fighting for the BMF belt. John Jones's fight style isn't BMF worthy. So you shouldn't be anywhere near the conversation of BMF. But we all know that Dana White must be carrying his baby, so that probably is a possibility. But the BMF title, I don't really like it. I think it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick belt. But John Jones's fight style does not suit BMF. And to say Jamal Hill, why? What is a fun matchup with Jamal Hill? He's not even that big of a name. You know, he lost to Pereira, which there's no shame in that at UFC 300. He took that fight on relatively short notice. He is a former light heavyweight champion, yes. He won the vacant title off Glover Teixeira, who was the former champion. But outside of that, what has he done? What has he done? You know, when you're saying you don't want to fight Tom Aspinall because of legacy, but you want to fight the likes of Jamal Hill, it doesn't make sense, and it's contradictive of what you're trying to say. I really don't get it. The UFC need to sort this shit out. Hopefully, when John Jones beats Stipe, they get Tom Aspinall in the ring and we can get a face-off and we can get this fight, the show on the road. I don't care what the UFC have to pay him. We've missed John Jones versus Ngannou. We cannot miss John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. It needs to happen. But let me know your opinions in the comments below. What's your opinion on this whole situation? I personally believe John Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall. He's scared to fight him because he knows it's such a difficult matchup for him, and he doesn't want to risk the chance of losing and then potentially not being called the GOAT of the sport. That's my opinion on it. Let me know yours in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.